legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. I've got the lightning inside me. Oh, just you watch. This is how legends are made. I'm like a titan that's rising. Oh, just you watch. This is how legends are made.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to True Sim Productions. I'm your host, Winston Deal from the WD Broadcasting Network over on Facebook. Welcome back to another presentation for the All-Star Racing League Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrication Late Model Series. Race number 11 of our 12-race season. We've got Lanier tonight and 5 flags next week. Last week we saw a new winner. This season at the North Wilkesboro Speedway last week. Chris Smith picking up win number 1 this season. But I don't think Chris Smith is going to make the call here tonight. Don't see him anywhere on the standings. Missing quite a few of our regulars here tonight, so hopefully we can see a little bit of parity up in the top of the standings. Right now, though, Brian Voss doing Brian Voss things. Show you the times on the left side. Got a little bit more pace than Matt Cox and Brandon Elvis behind him. But last week we saw an exciting finish between Brian Voss and Chris Smith battling it out to the line. A very, very good race last week at North Wilkesboro. I'd highly recommend going back and watching it, as well as the other races for the All-Star Racing League this season, all in that one playlist, Season 3 for these guys. So qualifying, getting ready to conclude. We got about 2 minutes left. 9 cars have taken time so far. 2 drivers yet to take time. Anthony Rennick, Chase Robertson in the 31, who won earlier this year at the New Smyrna Speedway. Anthony Rennick in the 23 machine, out on track, ready to make his qualifying run. Coming into this evening, Anthony Rennick in the 23, currently sitting in the 17th spot in the standings. This will be start number 6 for him right now. Only 2 top 10s on the season. He's going to try and find his way into the top 5 before the end of the night. Lap number 1 for Anthony Rennick, going to put him 9th quick with a 13.61. See what he can do in lap number 2. Checkered flag at the line a little bit quicker. He's going to move up to the 8th spot. Leapfrog Justin Coleman in the 14. So Anthony Rennick going to be starting from the 8th spot. We've got 10 cars that have taken time. I believe Chase Robertson in the 31 exited the session, so not going to be making the call, I don't believe. But about 15 seconds here left in qualifying, and then we're going to be sending them green for 100 laps of racing here at Lanier. We'll go ahead and grab Brian Voss from race room number 5. Brian, you got a copy? Oh, my Discord isn't on my... Something in my Discord's not right. Hold on, let me fix this. Brian, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
There we go. Some of my Discord settings was all kinds of messed up, but another poll here this evening at Lanier. What can you do to keep it up there throughout this 100-lap event?
Man, I really don't know. That definitely surprised me running that lap. Didn't get the practice that I was hoping for. But like every week, I think just keep the track position and just try to stay on the treble meter at the end.
Alrighty, well, we saw an eventful one from you last week. Ended up in the 2nd spot. Hopefully you can improve that by 1 position and get yourself back in victory lane. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks. Brian Voss, driver of the number 55. Another pole this season. I'm going to look up the stat really quick on how many poles Brian Voss has. So coming into this evening, let me try and get to the right spot on the stats page. There we go. Brian Voss picking up his 6th pole of the season here tonight. That's a crazy number because we are 11 races in. He's qualified first for over 50% of those races. So the 55 definitely has qualifying speed, and he's picked up some race wins to go with it as well. 4 wins coming into this evening. And off of turns 3 and 4, we are green flag racing. Sorry, I missed the start there. I was focused on the stats, but Mason Johnson, Brian Voss leading us into turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Johnson doing a good job rolling the top side. He's going to try and lead lap number 1. Give it to Mason Johnson in the 25, picking up where he left off back at USA a couple weeks ago. Oh, into the outside wall, though. That's going to allow Brian Voss to get right back alongside leader of lap number 2, make it the number 55 of Brian Voss. We've got a battle up front for the top spot. Voss has a little bit of an advantage into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Matt Cox trying to challenge for the 2nd spot in the 51. 25 of Mason Johnson still up on the top side of the racetrack, trying to make the outside lane work here early on. He's going to challenge once again for the race lead right there on the right side door of Brian Voss. 5 laps into this one, give it to Mason Johnson at the line. As these two go back and forth, and we'll see which lane prevails on the long run. It looks like Mason Johnson's going to be able to get clear and down in front of Brian Voss in the 55. So give the race lead officially to Mason Johnson on lap number 6. He's able to get out in front and clear of Brian Voss and start to set his own pace. We've only got 10 cars here, so track position is going to be pretty important. You're going to be around the same guys pretty much the entire time. Ooh, caution flag is out. I believe Brian Zimmerman is around the 4. Tanner Marr there as well. Take a look at what happened. Ooh, looks like contact coming off the corner. Hopefully I didn't go back too far. I've been doing it like the past 3 weeks. Go through the center of 3 and 4. Oh, just a little bit of contact from Zach Murphy in the 9. And then he checked up to try and let Zimmerman save it. And I think Justin Coleman might have gotten in there as well. He tagged Tanner Marr in the 4 machine. Brandon Elvis coming down pit road in the 54, trying to spice things up and play the track position game. He knows that he can make 100 laps at Lanier with tires. This track's not going to eat up the tires as bad as a place like North Wilkesboro last week or Myrtle Beach in the past. So I think Elvis is going to try and leapfrog the front runners on track position. But we have seen in previous weeks, including last week, the race winner won without coming to the pits at North Wilkesboro. So a lot of different strategy is played here in the All-Star Racing League. We'll see which one of them prevails here this evening. So lights are off on the Bad Company Racing pace car. Mason Johnson, Brian Voss, Matt Cox, and Justin Coleman, your top four, getting ready to lead us back. Green flag racing. 12 laps in. Out of our 100 laps scheduled through the Mr. All-Time Gaming restart zone, we're back racing. Mason Johnson gets a good start there. He's able to get out in front of Brian Voss. Voss going to have to settle for second for now. Coleman and Cox battling for the third spot, and Cox into the outside wall hard. I believe the green stays out, but a huge impact for the 51 machine. He's going to be hurting significantly from that. Cox way off the pace, and he's gonna stay on the racetrack for now, but you see all kinds of damage to the right side of the race car, and looks to be very much off the pace. So tough break for the 51 machine of Matt Cox back in the 9th spot. Right now, battle for the lead. Brian Voss is right there on the back bumper of Mason Johnson in the 25. Justin Coleman right now in the catbird seat in the 14. I'm interested to see whether or not this strategy works for Brandon Elvis, coming down within the first 5 laps to have to get the tires early. Obviously, he's not going to have too much of an advantage, only putting 5 laps on the tires on that initial run. But what he will have is track position later on. If he feels that he can maintain pace with these guys later in the run, if they take those tires late, then it should work out for him, and you should have that control of the race later on. But time will tell. We're 20 laps in, 80 to go at the line. Matt Cox is down pit road in the 51 machine. Big damage on that car. So his chances of victory lane here tonight likely eliminated there. He's up front, about a 3-car breakaway. Justin Coleman is starting to close in on the back bumper of Brian Voss in the 55 as Voss kind of puts his nose underneath Mason Johnson in the 25. This is going to be a short race here. Laps go away quickly. You know, in the 13-second bracket, do the math, it's not that long of a race if we go green. And right now, 25 laps in at the line right here. Already a quarter of the way through this one. Mason Johnson in the 25, the race leader right now. Looking at the lap times, the fastest car on the racetrack that last time around was the 23 of Anthony Rennick. He's starting to close in a little bit on the back bumper of Justin Coleman, sitting right there in the 4th spot. Rennick, we mentioned earlier, not had a finish in the top 5 so far this season. He's trying to do just that. He's sitting in the 4th spot right now, doing a good job early on. Ryan Zimmerman in the 28, already back up to the 6th spot after that incident on that first yellow flag. Mason Johnson having to really fight now to hold off the 55 of Brian Voss. The 55 really starting to put pressure on the back bumper of 25. As I say that, here comes the 14 to Justin Coleman with something to say about the second spot. I think Voss kind of backed off the bumper of Mason Johnson to try and build up a run, and Justin Coleman was right there and did not hesitate to make the move there. Ooh, contact. Voss into the back bumper of Johnson. Around goes Coleman. The yellow flag does eventually fly. You saw it right there. The 55 got into the corner a little bit too spicy, and Coleman was right there in the 14. We'll get another view. You see the contact there. Nowhere for Justin Coleman to go. Board with Justin Coleman right here. Just the slightest contact to the front, and then nowhere for Anthony Rennick or Tanner Marr to go in the 4 machine. So back under yellow for the second time here this evening. Mason Johnson down pit road, Brian Voss down pit road, Brandon Elvis coming down pit road in the 54. And what I'm thinking is maybe he took left side tires while he was down pit road that last time, but it does depend. So he comes out pretty quick. Ahead of Brian Voss and Mason Johnson. They're still down on pit road, getting their right side tires. So under caution for a second time, the field is back behind the Bad Company Racing pace car, and for the first time tonight, the younger of the two Elvis brothers, Justin Elvis, sitting at the top of the board. And conveniently, he's going to be lined up next to Brandon Elvis in the 54. So we've got an Elvis brothers front row with Brian Zimmerman and Zach Murphy behind him. Going to be sending them back green with 61 laps to go. And it'll be in the hands of the 44 machine of Justin Elvis with Brandon Elvis to his outside. Through the restart zone they go. Green flag is out. We're back underway. The 44 of Justin Elvis out to the early race lead. Here comes Brandon up top. Brian Zimmerman right there in the 28 as well. He's going to sneak to the inside. The door opens down low for Brian Zimmerman. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Down into turns 3 and 4. Zach Murphy right there as well. We're going to be 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. Justin Elvis took the way long way around that time. Trying to get back up through the field is Brian Voss and Mason Johnson. They're battling right here for the 4th spot. Right now, your race leader is Brian Zimmerman, your race winner earlier on in the season opener at Rockingham. Back out front here at Lanier. You just set the fastest lap of the race. Brian Zimmerman starting to piece it together here, just about halfway. About 6 laps shy. We've got about 5 cars in a line battling for your race lead as they make their way off turns 3 and 4. job keeping the 54 at bay. Not too much pressure has been applied by Brandon Elvis, but he's got Zach Murphy right up his back bumper. Mason Johnson right there as well. We're going to be 49 laps in at the line right here, just about halfway. Elvis creeps towards the back bumper. He's got a good run. Going to start to apply pressure here. Justin Coleman gets by Tanner Marr in the 4. Halfway in, halfway home that time for Brian Zimmerman. He is your Coleman Design halfway leader in the 28 machine. Up front, they just continue to put laps away here. 52 down. Justin Elvis and Anthony Rennick battling out back for the 8th spot. This field makes their way down the back straightaway. The front group is all nose to tail here, but not much battling going on inside the top 5. Tanner Marr in the 4 machine brings it down pit road. Not quite sure what happened. I think he might have towed his race car, but Tanner Marr, trouble on lap number 55. He is down pit road and going to lose several laps here, so I believe the 4 machine might be out of this one. 8 cars left on the lead lap. Brian Zimmerman still your race leader. Not much pressure has been applied by the 54, or really anyone behind him. Mason Johnson and Brian Voss, who looked very strong early on in this race, have not made their way up through the field just yet. As Justin Coleman has something to say about it. He gets by Brian Voss in the 55. So move Justin Coleman back up into the top 5 in the 14 machine. He's making passes here. He might have something figured out. .40 laps to go at the line for race leader Brian Zimmerman. Apologies. But he's trying to pick up his 2nd victory of the season coming into this evening. Zimmerman 3rd in the point standings. He's got about an 11-point lead over Zach Murphy, and he's about 30 points behind Brandon Elvis. So he's sitting solid in the 3rd spot. Another win right here this evening would give him a lot better chances at getting to that 2nd spot. He's doing a good job this evening, leading a lot of laps as well. Mason Johnson to the inside of Zach Murphy for the 3rd spot. Things starting to spread out here at Lanier. See the field down the front straightaway. Looks like Mason Johnson going to have to fall back in line. Not quite able to get by Zach Murphy in the 29 machine. Up front, Brandon Elvis really trying to change up his line to figure out a way to get a run built up on this 28 machine of Brian Zimmerman. Kind of entering in high and really bringing it back down low. I like that these late model stocks, you can really run a different line and mix it up and still keep pace, and it doesn't feel like you're just glued to that one line. some of the other cars on the service, you kind of have to just stay in that one line and hope the other guy makes a mistake. These you can really play around a little bit and try and find a faster line, and oftentimes you can. And Brandon Elvis is trying to build up a run off the corner right here to get to the back bumper of the 28, but not able to do so just yet. Back behind him, a little bit of contact. I think Mason Johnson was kind of shoving the 29 off the corner right there. You see it again, a little bumper to the back bumper of the 29, letting him know, hey man, I'm right here. As the 25 does go inside, 30 to go at the line. Mason Johnson up into the third spot. I think Murphy tried to come back and cross him over right there. Wasn't able to do it. Back up front, that 28 machine continues to lead here at Lanier. On board with Brandon Elvis right now, trying to gather up a run. We're just shy of 3/4 of the way through this one. About 25 laps to go, and time's going to run out, and if we get any late cautions, you're going to regret not taking the lead earlier. And, you know, if you had a shot, you're going to regret not pushing that issue as the race gets later on. As we are 3/4 of the way into this one, 25 to go at the line right here. But hopefully these guys can race it out, have a good battle to the finish. There'll be 23 laps to go this time around at the line. Mason Johnson got around Zach Murphy in the 29, but hasn't been able to close that gap anymore. Right now, Brian Zimmerman just continuing to have good pace. Justin Coleman problems in the 14. He's down pit road. Justin Coleman tough. Alrighty, folks, we are back here on True Sim Productions. I just realized that my mic was off for a little bit that last green flag run. I do apologize about that. Not quite sure what that was about. But the field is doubled up behind the Bad Company Racing pace car. We're going to have 9 laps to go. It'll be Brian Zimmerman, Brandon Elvis, Zach Murphy, Mason Johnson, Brian Voss. 5 cars on the lead lap. It's going to be 5 cars, 8 lap shootout. Brian Zimmerman, Brandon Elvis through the restart zone, lead us to green. Zimmerman got a good jump that time. Was able to put some distance between him and Brandon Elvis, but right back behind him, here comes Mason Johnson trying to battle for the second spot. Elvis trying to hang on up top. We'll see who has it at the line. Elvis going to hang on to it for now. That top lane really playing to his liking right now. But here comes Mason Johnson back to the bottom side. Trying to make something happen. 6 to go at the line right now. Brian Zimmerman's trying to pick up his second victory of the season. Can he hang on? 5 to go at the stripe. Zach Murphy, Brian Voss battling it out behind him for the 4th spot. It looks like for now, Brandon Elvis is going to keep the 2nd position. Brian Voss on top, trying to... Ooh, contact! Around goes the 54 of Elvis. And that is going to reset things big time, folks. Getting another look at it right here. He's clear of the 25 of Mason Johnson. But something must have happened through the center of turns 3 and 4. Oh, looks like just contact. It looks like the 25 just kind of flat wrecked the 54 machine right there. Not really much else I can say about it. And Elvis is, I'm sure, not going to be happy about that whatsoever. But that, folks, is going to set us up for a green-white checkered finish. We'll be sending them back green with 2 laps to go. Brian Zimmerman is your race leader. Zimmerman this season, 5 top 5 finishes, 7 top 10s. Victories so far, trying to add to that total here tonight. So the field is back doubled up for a final time behind, or what could be a final time behind the Bad Company Racing pace car. Through turns 3 and 4, off the racing surface, Brian Zimmerman, Zach Murphy through the restart zone. We're back racing. 2 laps to go for Brian Zimmerman. What can he do to hold off Zach Murphy and Brian Voss behind him? Murphy trying to make the top side work. Through the center of turns 3 and 4. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Brian Zimmerman in the 28 machine. Contact behind him. Brandon Elvis and Brian Voss are going to battle through turns 3 and 4 for the 3rd spot. But Brian Zimmerman going to pick up the victory, his 2nd of the season here at Lanier. Good battle to the end right there. Brandon Elvis and Brian Voss battled right there at the stripe. But Brian Zimmerman gonna come home with his 2nd victory of the season. He is burning them down here at Lanier. We're gonna take a quick step away before we wrap things up. Grab a word from our top 3 finishers here at Lanier. We'll be right back on True Sim Productions. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at Lanier on True Sim Productions. Going to grab a word from our top 3 finishers, starting with our 3rd place finisher, Brandon Elvis. See if I can find a... Oh, I can't find anybody in voice chat, but we'll see if I can see Brandon Elvis in there. But I think we'll start with Zach Murphy, our 2nd place finisher. See if we can't get a word from him. Zach Murphy up in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes.
Alrighty, well, your best finish of the season here tonight, 2nd spot. You came into this evening, into this evening, 4th into the points. What does this 2nd place finish do for you, and how do you feel tonight?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it'll land us, but feels good to finally go up one more spot on the podium, get to 2nd. Hopefully we can close it out the year with a win somewhere, but always good to run up front with this group of guys. A lot of talent out here, so always proud to finish on the podium.
Yeah, you had to battle for it at the end there. You and Brian Voss were battling together, and then Brandon Elvis as well. A lot of tight racing there in the top 5. But you kept your cool, kept it underneath you, and ended up in the 2nd spot here tonight. Is there anybody that you have to thank that helped put you on the podium once again?
Yeah, it was a long run, and appreciate Brandon and Brian there giving me some run at the end. Caught the wall, unfortunately, and had a little damage, so it was tough for those last few laps. But anyway, yeah, I just want to thank all the guys at All-Star putting this league on, and all the guys at True Sim for the broadcast. It's always good times, and Coleman Designs for the paint scheme.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Zach Murphy, on your 2nd place finish here tonight at Lanier.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, folks, 2nd place finisher here tonight, Zach Murphy in the 29. Still looking around Discord to make sure I'm not missing anybody, and now I think we're going to grab a word from our winner here tonight, picking up his 2nd victory of the season, Brian Zimmerman, up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Winston. How you tonight, bud?
I'm pretty good. I bet you're pretty good too, buddy. Picking up the victory, your 2nd of the season. You did it from the 5th spot here tonight. Tell me how you did it.
Pit strategy, taking two at the right time, getting a good line there on Brandon on one of those restarts, him having to start on the outside, and that was pretty much it. And just trying not to make any mistakes. My headset wasn't working right all night. I could barely hear my car running. I couldn't hear anybody in chat when they were whatever they were saying. I know I'd gotten turned earlier, and Zach had gotten into me. He had apologized, but that's the only thing that I knew that people were saying during the race. So it was kind of hard to keep up with what was going on in the race. Just kind of run your own thing. But yeah, it was Lanier, one of my better tracks. It's just a consistency track, run the same lap, but everybody was so on top of each other, same speed. It was so hard to make passes here, so you had to really take advantage of other people when they'd make a mistake or a pit strategy. And we made the right moves tonight and got lucky and pulled one out.
Yeah, you mentioned the racing was so tight, and it is. In the past 2 weeks, we've seen it. Last week at North Wilkesboro, there was a constant battle in the top 5. Tonight, it was the same kind of, if you made a mistake, you were getting shuffled back to the end of the line. And it was definitely some great racing. Great for you, obviously. Picked up your 2nd victory of this season. Is there anybody that you have that helped put you in victory lane for a second time here tonight?
Well, I'd always like to give a shout out to Chris Carroll. He does my paint schemes on my car, so we thank him for doing that. The guys at Five Kings, Tanner Marr, and TSP Broadcasts, of course, and you, Winston Dill WD Broadcasting, coming on board and broadcasting for us on TSP. We appreciate you doing that. And the league sponsors, Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrication, appreciate them coming on board and helping making the league. All-Star, the All-Star Racing League, all that they do. And then also Coleman Designs. You need a good paint scheme. Old Justin Coleman can knock them out, do some great jobs. So appreciate all those guys and what all they do for the league. And shout out to my brother-in-law Andrew. He's always out there watching. So we appreciate that. And his brother Jonathan, they're always keeping up with us on TSP and Winston Dill Broadcasting. They're always keeping up with you. So we appreciate all you do there.
Alrighty, well, good group of guys and everybody helping you out, and another victory here tonight. Congratulations once again, Brian.
Thanks, bud. It'd been kind of a dry spell. It was nice to get one. Really struggled in this league. After the first race, got that first win, and then it's kind of been rough since then. So it was nice to finally put one together and get another win this season.
Yeah, always good to have momentum going into the final race. Speaking of Five Flags, how are you feeling going into there?
Flags is one of my favorite tracks. I haven't run it a lot in this new car and the new late model, but it is one of my favorite tracks. I wouldn't say I'm the best at it, but I do enjoy running it. So I think we'll be competitive. I think everybody in this league is probably pretty good at Five Flags, though. So I expect the same as what we see the last few weeks, right? Everybody on top of each other, trying to vie for those top spots.
Alrighty, well, sounds like you've got a game plan going in there, and you've got an idea of what it's going to be like. So we hope we can see you do good there. But nonetheless, congratulations once again on your victory here at Lanier.
Thanks again, Winston. We appreciate all you do, bud.
Yep. Alrighty, folks. That was your race winner, Brian Zimmerman. I don't see Brandon Elvis in the voice chat anywhere, but we'll get a word from him next week if we don't get a chance to. But Elvis coming home in the third spot here tonight. Back behind him was Brian Voss in the 55. And then Anthony Rennick in the 23 coming home in the fifth spot. Mason Johnson in the sixth position. Rounding out our lead lap cars, Justin Elvis finishing 2 laps down in the 44. And then Justin Coleman, Tanner Marr, and Matt Cox with a DNF here tonight. But I believe that is going to do it here, folks, for our coverage of Lanier with the All-Star Racing League. We will see you guys back next week for our season finale at the Five Flag Speedway. Hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, y'all, take it easy.